All right, guys, we are back with another video on the semi. So if you remember in our last one, we made a huge leap forward. I got all of the skeleton, the framing for the inside. I got it welded, sanded, painted, and I did the big reveal of the garage area. A lot of you guys said it looked amazing. I agree. I'm just really pleased with how well it turned out. So, since I've got the motivation, I'm not stopping there. Today, we're gonna work on the ceiling of the semi. So, on the set at Universal, there were 8 ceiling panels in the office and garage area, surrounded by, there was like a wood trim, and then there were dividers, followed by 4 light panels in each section with an egg crate diffuser on them. So, my goal is to replicate all of that. So I've already started, I've got all the wood in there, I've got it cut and mocked up. So I'm gonna show you that. Then I've got to pull it all down. We have to paint it all gray, put it back up, secure it, put the dividers in, put the diffusers in, put the drop ceiling lights in. So we've got a lot of work, but I'm gonna see if I can get all of that done. We're not going to hook up the lights today because I still need access to the area above the drop ceiling for getting the door for the ramp and the winch and getting that all situated. So we're not doing the lights today, but we'll get everything else mocked up. I think it's gonna be amazing. Here we go. So I have something really interesting to show you guys real quick. Fan sent this over to me, and I thought it was the neatest thing ever. This is from the Pixel Moto company, and they 3D print these little garage key holders, keychain holders. And, well, it's hard to explain, but let me open this up and tell you a little bit about it, or show it to you, actually. So this is their kit-inspired key holder garage, okay? So you can see here it's got mounts. So the way this works is this, whenever you hang a key here, it opens and you keep a die-cast car inside. And Pixel Moto company has made this for a number of different varieties for, you know, your everyday Hot Wheels. This is their kit inspired, their Knight Rider inspired one. This is the very first one that they did. So then you hang your key here, and then when you lift your key, this pops up and the door closes. So they sent me this, and they sent me a kit, which I thought was fitting. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this. And of course I can't do it while it's laying on the ground, so we'll move it here. But see, kit's supposed to go in there, and then when you hang your key, you see kit inside. So let's go ahead and mount this on the wall, and we'll see how it works. All right, so you can either use the double-sided tape. I decided to mount some screws, so I can hang it like this. So hopefully I got them where they need to be. There we go. Do that, push in. So let's see how this works. So we'll take our keys. These are our Trans Am keys. And there, look how awesome that is. You got kit inside, and then you go to take the keys off, garage door closes. Isn't that awesome? So big thank you to Pixel Moto company for sending this over. If you guys are interested in getting one of these custom Knight Rider ones, there's information down below on how to contact them to get yours. All right, so in our last video, I mocked that section up. So that's what it's all going to look like when it's all done. Obviously that panel is moved out of the way. but this is what it's supposed to look like. So you see there's thicker wood trim on either side there, and then just peeks out just a little bit here. And that's just like how it was on the set. Same on this side. Now, it all needs to be painted gray. Actually, this gray right here, this is an old piece, it needs repainted, but that's what it looks like. The dividers need painted gray. So you can see here, I went through and I got all of the wood cut, test fit, everything's exactly how it needs to be. And I also, on the other side of all this wood, I marked them all so I know what pieces went where, because even though, you know, there's slight variations in the widths of the panels, I'm talking like 1/8 of an inch here and there. So I wanted to get it all a nice tight fit. So these are gonna go back exactly where they were before. And you can see that I got this piece in. I don't know if you can see that. That's the header piece, which that piece gets painted black. So we'll do that as well. All right, so now that I have this all cut and marked, time to pull them all down and start painting. All right, we're in the middle of painting a whole bunch of boards here. This is the trim for the lights. I found this perfect semi-gray. I think it'll end up needing 2 coats, but so we're just gonna get the first coat on here. And I'm just painting one edge, because only one edge is all you'll ever see. And I've got to refill my tray. All right. Got 7 more to go here. Second coat, and then I think there's another 10 boards that I have to do after this. All right, a couple hours later, here's where we're at. I just finished painting all of these. So for the most part, around where the lights go, it's pretty much just a drop ceiling setup. So these are all the drop ceiling pieces. They're still drying, but I had to get those all painted. So those are all done. And then if we go back here, these are all done as well. So these are all of the small and large trim pieces for up there. And once this is all dry, it's install time. This is going to be exciting. All right, so it's the next day. All of our paint is dry. I don't know if you can hear, but it's raining outside. So fortunately, the roof is sealed. It's nice and dry in here. And I just couldn't wait, now that all the trim panels are dry, to get them set in place up on the ceiling. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, fortunately, and you may remember this, I can't show you because I don't have a piece. Yes, I do, right here. So, fortunately, I marked each one of the pieces with where they go up here, because some of them are slightly different, off by an 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch, and I really wanted to make sure this had a nice, clean, tight finish. So we're gonna get these put back up here in their correct location, and then once we get it all kind of mocked up, then we'll screw it all down. I can't install the lights yet because of the ramp mechanism. We need to make sure that's all good. So we'll get the trim up and we'll get the dividers up, and maybe we'll even place the egg crate diffusers in, but we're not going to install the lights yet. because the egg crate diffusers we can move out of the way to access the ramp mechanism if we have to. Well, we're definitely going to have to. So before that, I wanted to give a huge thank you and shout out to Ed Zappia. So if you remember in my last video, I was asking for help in getting the egg crate diffusers. We needed 30 of them. Ed sent us a message, ordered 30, had them shipped directly here. Thank you so much, Ed. Huge, huge help there. Now, I know some of you other guys, based on that last video, have donated towards getting these. So obviously, thanks to Ed's generosity, we don't need the money for this. However, your generosity has allowed us to buy all of the materials we need for all 8 of these inserts. We're talking the plywood, there's 2x4s that go behind the plywood for structure, the foam that covers the board, and the fabric, the orange tan fabric that's gonna go in all these. So you guys are absolutely amazing. I could not do this project without you. Ed, thank you so much for the egg crate diffusers, and for all of you who donated, thank you so, so much. All right, so now it's time to start putting these pieces back up. So these are all dry, ready to go. So let's start back here. We're gonna start in the back and see what we can do. 15. So the key is get this all situated without scraping anything up, whether it be the black of the frames or the gray that we just painted. All right, so get that lined up. So we got that trim up, and then these smaller ones, 8 left. So 8 left, just like that. And this is 8 right. Goes over here, if I can reach it. We'll do the trim for here, which is 14 and 13. So here is 14. So we'll get 14 there, and 13 is right here. Oh, that was piercing. 14 and 13. All right. So we'll go ahead and climb up here and get 14 and 13. Okay, there's 14. Let me check my fitting back here. 14. It's good. And then 13. Like I said, we're going to secure all this down. First, we're doing one last test fitting. And then once everything's in place, then we'll secure it down. Okay. It's nice when all the prep work I did, makes this just kind of come together easily. Look at that. All right. So now we shall just continue on. All right, guys. Man, it is really raining outside now, but look at this. Got them all up here. How awesome does that look? Now they're just sitting up here. They still need fastened down, but I have that covered. I do still need to paint that gray and this black and the outside of this black, but not today because of the rain. So now what I want to do, there were 4 light panels in each one of these sections, and they had dividers. They had a divider here, divider in the middle, and a divider here. In reality, all they did was they went out and they bought, when I say they, I mean the studio back in the day, they used traditional drop ceiling pieces. So the lights are 2 foot by 4 foot. So we're just going to install a drop ceiling grid above the wood. We're not going to, you know, with the traditional drop ceiling, you'd hook wires to the studs on the ceiling and then the ceiling would be suspended. That's not what we're doing here. We're gonna create our drop ceiling grid, but it's gonna end up getting screwed down to the top of this wood. So it'll be very stationary. We do have cross members, which you can see right there. I didn't paint those because you're not gonna see them. They're gonna sit right on top of each one of these cross members, in theory. So let's see how this goes. All right, so now that we have all of the trim panels in, it's time to move on to the drop ceiling light separators. So we've got our light, I'll call them light separators. And then we also have our cross members here. They're gonna go across this way. So should be able to interconnect all these and put a nice grid up there to accept the 30 to 40, a lot of lights. So let's go ahead and do this. I went ahead and got all of these pieces secured down. Let me take you up here real quick and I'll show you what I did. So you can see here we've got brackets that tie all of the wood together. So I got those done the whole way down, and even ones here on the end. Now this isn't all we're doing to secure these, but we're also going to actually put some L brackets in here and secure this wood to the trailer itself. So it should be pretty stable. We're also going to secure these boards down into the steel cross members here. So, but now that we have these on over here, let's go ahead and put the grid system up. I think it's gonna be pretty amazing. All right, so we're going to start with one section up here. So let me put these down here. So this trim should go across here-ish, like that. And then, where is my center? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is our center right here. I guess I should have measured that first. So this one's going to go in here, just like that. And then 12, 24 inches. Just like that. And then one more, 12, 24. Just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4 lights. So I'm just going to continue on. We'll get all the grids in. Then we'll come back after we finish securing all of the wood like we need to. Then we'll come back and it'll be time for the egg crate. And look who's here. our cat. Some of you guys like to see our cat. There she is, right there. Say hi. Okay. All right, we'll be back soon. All right, so fast forward, it's a few days later from what you saw me working on earlier in this video, and I realized I made a little bit of a boo-boo in terms of designing the drop ceiling. Nothing that we can't fix. In fact, I've already fixed it. So if you remember earlier in this video, I was talking about the gray trim that goes around each one of the light panels. And I mentioned that the gray pieces on the outside edges stuck out just a little bit from the black frames. And then the front and back stuck out like 6 inches. And I also mentioned that it was different between the semi-set and the actual semi-trailer. I realized once I got the trim pieces in that there was going to be an issue with the track lighting, the canned track lighting that goes down the entire length of the trailer, really. And I realized that that canned lighting, you can't mount it up against the black frames. It's too close to the wall. They need to be set in a little bit. So that led me down a path looking at screenshots of the actual trailer and seeing how they mounted the track lights, because not only did the set on stage 1 have track lights, but the semi, this semi did as well, at least in the back half. And I was looking and looking, and there weren't very many good shots where you can see how the lights were mounted, until I found this wonderful screenshot, this wonderful scene from Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. And it's the scene where a kid is pulling up into the back of the trailer. And if you look at the ceiling, you can see that the track lighting is actually mounted on the gray trim pieces this way, and they are not just a couple inches wide. They're actually like 8 inches wide on each side. And I knew that the semi-set, they were wider, because there's a great scene in The Wrong Crowd when you see Scott Hollander walking out the back of the trailer. And if you look up, you can see that there is a wider gray trim on the top. And in fact, I didn't notice this until I saw how the lights were mounted in Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. But if you look at that scene from The Wrong Crowd, the track light is missing, but you can still see the mounting holes in the gray surround. So then I went back and I looked at the semi-set on stage 1 at Universal, and I realized it was designed the same way. What I was looking at thinking that the gray protruded just a little bit was actually the gray protruding just a little bit from the track lighting rails. I know it's kind of hard to explain, but all that to say, I was wrong, and I've since fixed it. So I'm sure as I've been talking, you guys have been looking up here. So let me bring you a little closer and you can see how I've adjusted this. So now, if you notice, we've got much thicker gray here, which is the way it's supposed to be. And the track lighting will mount right on this edge right here, like right there is where the track lighting rails mount. And another thing I noticed, because of all of this, my light spacing is not correct. I'm using traditional drop ceiling grid, and this is set up right now for 2x4 panels. But that's not what they did in the actual semi, and you can tell this again looking at The Wrong Crowd. You can see that they're narrower. What they did was this. So you can see the difference. We go from this to this. It's actually from 24 inches to 18 inches. And this setup is, I'm positive, this is how it was on the trailer back in the day when they were filming. So we'll have the grids placed in there, and then the lights are going to be, they're going to be a little tricky, right? Because the lights are 2x4 panels. These are now 18x24. But I have a plan to make it work and it'll all look perfect, which you'll see in a future video because we're not quite ready for that yet. So Now what we're ready to do is, first I've got to adjust the outside grids from 24 inches over to 18 inches the whole way down here. I still have to do a little bit more securing. These pieces are secured in back here, but I have other metal straps that I want to secure in up front, just so, you know, stuff like this doesn't happen. So it'll all be nice and even and perfect. So we'll get all those in. Then we're gonna go ahead and get the egg crate diffusers in. Behind the egg crate diffusers, just to give you a sneak peek at the future, there's gonna be translucent clear panels behind that, and then the lights will go on top of that. So with all that said, I know that's a lot of talking. Let's go ahead, I'm gonna get these rails adjusted in, and then we'll get some egg crates cut there. All right, so thanks to my little error here, I have to adjust all these, which normally wouldn't be a big deal, but they're a little bit of a pain once you get them snapped in. So we'll go ahead and get all these adjusted. I'm glad I discovered this issue, you know, before I got too much further with this sealing. Let's see here. Yeah, there's like these little tabs. There we go. So then I gotta bend the tabs back out, like so. And then we'll bring this one in to here. And to here. There we go. All right, so to spare you guys the boredom, I'm gonna go ahead, get all these moved, then we'll bring you back and we'll start working on the egg crates. All right, so the grid is all done. And let me just bring you up here so you can get a better view of how it's all laid out. So you can see here we've got the cross members, everything snapped together. Now, this is just floating up here right now, but what we're going to do is we're going to attach this permanently to each one of the cross members going the whole way down so it's nice and steady. But I don't want to do that yet because I want to get the egg crate diffusers in just to make sure everything is square. But eyeing it up, it looks pretty good this way, and it should, right? Because these are all uniform, so everything's snapped together. So that's how we're doing it from above. So let's go ahead and get some egg crates cut and in place. All right, so the reality of this is, since these are narrower, we are going to have to cut some. Now, these outside ones, I should be able to, I think, put a full piece in because it'll go past the trim piece here against the wall, I think. Let's just see. Let's see if this works. Oh yeah, yeah, that's gonna fit just nicely. So, well, that looks pretty awesome. So now, this piece, these are gonna have to be cut. So the question is, where do they need cut at? So if I place one in here, so we can see right, so we're gonna have to cut 3 rows off. Now again, for the most part, these are gonna be, I'm gonna have to pull these back out for getting the ramp mechanism all squared away, but are you gonna fit? Come on. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Let's do this one. Oh yeah. And then a full panel over here. Whoops, better take the sticker off. I know they have to put stickers on here, but this is slightly annoying how they do that. I don't know if you can hear, but it is raining yet again. Okay. There we go. All right. Huh. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. How awesome is that? How awesome. I love it. I love it. Now to do a million more. Through the magic of editing, we now have the rest of the center two grids cut. Jigsaws are amazing. I had, what, 14, because I had those two done. I had those 14 all done in like 5 minutes, 7 minutes. So they're all cut, ready to be installed down the center. Then we'll do the outside edges. So let's see how this goes. Let's see here, one side, there's one side that's finished just slightly better. And that would be this side, okay. So let's get up top. Okay, there's one. Nice thing is you can grab down on them and pull down. There we go. All right, let's keep going. You guys may have noticed that I'm shuffling between hoodies and then shorts and a t-shirt and then hoodies again. Well, that's because the weather can't decide if it wants to be winter or summer or just spring. Today it's winter. Yesterday it was summer. I don't know. All right, let's get that corner in. Oh yeah. Try not to flex these too much. There we go. Beautiful. Next. Excellent. I know I'm gonna have to move some of these whenever we get the winch mechanism all done, and that's fine. They pop right out easily. I'm not gonna install the lights and everything until we've secured all of the winch apparatus, but I just had to do that. This is hugely motivating to be able to put these up. So let's go ahead and we'll get the rest up, and then we'll bring you back for the big reveal. All right, so let's talk about the track lighting that we see in the semi. We've spent so much time trying to identify the correct can lights that we saw on the set, the semi set on stage 1 at Universal. Now, there were 2 variations of these lights. Season 1 and a few of the early filmed season 2 episodes had a style that was different from this. What you're looking at here is the exact model of light in the correct finish, which is a brushed aluminum finish, that we see for most of season 2, all of season 3, and all of season 4. So this is, for all intents and purposes, the light we're looking for. Unfortunately, finding this exact light in the right length, in the right diameter, with the right mounting arm has proven to be nearly impossible. In fact, in 3 years, 2 or 3 years of searching, we've only found 2. How many do we need? I don't know, like 30? So I'm starting to think the next best solution is to have these custom made. Because if you look at it, I mean, it's a cylinder, right? I mean, we should be able to find someone that can make these. We were fortunate enough to find other light units that were the incorrect size but had the correct arms. So we have probably 20 or so of the correct arms. We just need to recreate these housings. So I'm going to harness the power of all of you awesome people to see if we can either find exact ones of these, which I'm doubting, or if one of you guys out there is excellent with CAD and we can design this and then I can ship it off to a manufacturer and have them create this. What I'm thinking is companies that make aluminum tumblers for drinks, companies like that probably have the equipment to make this, because I'm pretty sure this is just, wouldn't this be extruded aluminum? I think. I'm not an expert, but what I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you guys the measurements here. So you can see this is a 7-inch, exactly 7 inches long. Here, 3 inches in diameter on the outside. Now, we can source a socket. That's not a problem. There is a ribbed pattern on the inside. This was machined. If we can find a company that can machine that ribbing, wonderful. If not, that might be a small detail we'll have to leave out until we can find enough of the originals. The back, you can see here, it's got, this has a lip, almost like it was bent over. Like this is all one piece. It was bent over. You can see how thin it is here. This is a little thicker because the aluminum was bent over. And then there's this is aluminum under here. And then they put this black textured sticker on it, and then this is the on-off switch. Again, the on-off switch, the black sticker I can handle. We're just looking for the aluminum housing in these dimensions. So if you are good with CAD and you're interested in helping us recreate this in CAD, that would be awesome. Or maybe, you know, you can help us find these lights. That would be even more awesome. And we still need to find more of these arms as well. So that's it. That's what I got on the lights. Let's see if we can find or make the rest of these lights so we can get those mounted. All right, guys. I'm done. Wait until you see this. It's unbelievable. The semi is coming to life. Are you ready for this? All right, I'm gonna get out of the way. Let me show you the ceiling for the semi. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, it gives me shivers. Unbelievable. Now, you can obviously see through them because there's no lights up there yet. And like I said, we're going to put translucent acrylic behind there, I think. And we still got a little bit of securing to do of the wood. I just couldn't help myself. I just wanted to mock it up. So I still have to go through and secure the trim on the edges a little bit. But let's take a little walk around here. And let's go up inside and I'll show you some of the details. Look at this. Oh, it's so weird because obviously I was never on the real set, but it's starting to feel like the real set. It's so weird. I can't explain it. Hopefully you guys one day will get a chance to come see this in person and walk through here and be like, this is bizarre. So, can any of you guys guess what this hole is for? That's right. We've had a number of you guys asking us if we're going to put the drop-down computer in the semi. And the answer is, yeah. Not sure how we're going to make it work yet because it's right in the center and the cable for the winch goes through there. So we're going to have to get creative. We'll figure something out. But the way this is designed with the dividers, this is 100% exactly the way it was on the set at stage one. The way they put the dividers in, the egg crate around it, exactly. This opening is the exact size that it was on stage one at Universal and is the size that obviously will accept the drop-down unit. So we got that all done. It's just, I just don't even know. I can't wait till I can light it up. This whole thing's gonna be so bright with all these lights in here. Isn't this amazing? So amazing. But this is what I was saying. So I still have to, I'm going to put additional brackets right here on all these pieces for support, and the track lighting mounts on those. So we want those to be nice and secure. But look at that. You can just kind of picture KITT pulling up in there at this point. Oh, we still got a long way to go. So after we get those brackets on, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get these panels. We got the fabric ordered. We're gonna get these inserts in, and then the whole garage area for the most part will be done. We still gotta do the nice burnt orange carpet in here, but we'll get there. And then we're gonna move on to the lounge. This is coming together. This is the year. This is the year that big things, I mean, I say that every year, but this is gonna be amazing. All right, guys, I am elated, as you can imagine. Hopefully you can see it in my face because this is just so cool. And it's nice after, what is it, almost 3 years? Or is it 2 years? 3 years. It's been a long time since we started just on the trailer. And to see it come together, finally, is just incredible. So stick with us. It's getting really good now. And we're happy to have you here. Hope you'll stay with us. Thank you again so much for watching. More on the Semi very, very soon. We'll talk to you later.
Hello friends, it's me, KITT. When I'm not out fighting crime, I like to follow my friends at knightriderhistorians.com. Check it out.